Hello everyone, my name is Laura Barrero and today I would be presenting on Colombia. Before getting started, I would like to give a bit of an outline on the topics that we'll be discussing throughout my presentation. I will begin my presentation by giving some background information on Colombia and some facts. Then I will briefly discuss Colombia's history. This will lead me into discussing what I believe to be two of the most important topics of Colombia. The first topic being Colombia's economic realities, where I will further discuss Colombia's drug wars, the FARC, and US intervention. The second topic that I will be discussing is Colombia's culture and tourism, where I will make connections to Colombia's economic and political affairs. To conclude my presentation, I will be reflecting on Colombia as a whole and my final thoughts on the class. Now that we know what's going to be throughout this presentation, let's get started. Colombia was named after Christopher Columbus. He, however, never actually explored Colombia. The first Europeans that explored Colombia came in 1499. Colombia's language is Spanish. They pride themselves in speaking true Castellano because of their strong connection to the Spaniards during La Conquista. Colombia's population size is 49.07 million people. Among those people, the majority of them practice the religion Roman Catholic. The current president of Colombia is Iván Duque. He is the head of state and the head of Congress of Colombia. Now that we know some facts on Colombia, let's take a look at its history. One of Colombia's most important leaders was Simón Bolívar. He led Colombia to independence on July 20th, 1810. However, even with their strong European influence, Colombia is a highly mestizo country. Today, 1.5 million indigenous people live in Colombia. That gives about 87 tribes. Among those indigenous people is the Muiscas. The Muiscas are people that created the pattern of one of Colombia's most symbolic items, the sombrero volteado. This sombrero has been known globally by now and has become a trademark for Colombia. Let's take a look at Colombia's geographical aspects. Expanding from coast to mountainous interior, Colombia has a lot of resources and land to offer. After Simón Bolívar's Gran Colombia in 1810 and Panama's independence in 1903, Colombia started to share its borders with 5 different countries. These countries are Venezuela, Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, and Panama. Colombia has 2 main ports, Barranquilla and Cartagena. These ports are connected to the Magdalena River, which passes through the Andes. The shaded mountainous area in the picture is Colombia's location for its capital, Bogotá. Bogotá is where most of its economic and political affair happens, and Esmeralda. However, even with all these resources, which was the reason why Europeans colonized the area, they are still below the poverty line. 1/3 of the population struggles to meet its basic needs such as education, plumbing, food, and other aspects. This makes it easy for groups such as the FARC to infiltrate and become sustainable in the areas. The FARC started right after Colombia's Civil War that happened between 1948 and 1958. This time period was called La Violencia. This group of people are a left-wing rebel group who profit from kidnapping, violence, and drug trade. However, even today, what affects Colombia's political standing and economical power is not the FARC. It is actually drug trafficking. Colombia has been struggling with this problem. Ever since the 80s, Colombia has struggled to control its drug trafficking and drug wars. This is mostly due to two main aspects. The first being the demand by the US and other foreign countries, and the second one being the poverty rate in Colombia. Consumers in the US are willing to pay high prices for cocaine. The cartels are using this to pay Colombian farmers to harvest coca. Harvesting coca is not illegal in Colombia. This is because coca is used as another tool for medicine. This strategy, however, is being very popularized by cartel leaders. One of the most famous one is Pablo Escobar. He used this strategy to become one with the people. He provided the poor with money and with other resources that he could use to increase their loyalty. This is the reason why Pablo Escobar had a long reign of drug trafficking until his capture and death in 1993. Now Colombia is fighting back against drug trafficking. It is using US intervention and US resources to decrease cocaine production. Now Colombian government is sending out planes that will kill off the coca harvest so that they are reducing the production of cocaine. This is bringing a new light into Colombia. That new light is the idea of tourism and culture. Carnivals such as the Carnival of Barranquilla and the Carnival of the Flores has increased Colombia's popularity and diminished Colombia's bad image. The carnival has brought a lot of economical value to Colombia. Colombia is the second most biodiverse country. This has increased tourism and therefore has brought in $1.6 billion for GDP for Colombia. That has been a 23% increase since last year. The carnivals are also increasing the exports of Colombia and therefore increasing its economical value. However, another new aspect that has brought in fame for Colombia, the Colombian team in the World Cup also brought a lot of popularity and tourism for the country. It brought in a new market, both internationally and in Colombia. The face of the Colombian team, James Rodriguez, became very popular and therefore signed a lot of contracts with major companies. Companies such as Adidas now open more stores in Colombia, therefore increasing job opportunities for Colombians. This has also increased tourism for the country. Many Americans now travel to places like Medellin and Cartagena just to be able to get a glimpse of the team. To conclude, I would like to reflect on the research that I have conducted. Being able to research Colombia is something that I would have never done had I not taken this class. It was interesting to me because I had no prior history knowledge of Colombia because I came here when I was very young. I liked that I learned a lot about the indigenous people and their part in the society. I also liked how this research destroyed my bias on what I knew of drug wars from media such as Netflix. It showed me that Colombia's political and economical struggles are deeply embedded in their society and history. It also showed me the bright side of Colombia, such as the carnivals, which I hope to go back and be able to participate in. Lastly, I was able to look up one of my favorite teams, which was the Selección. I like to see that Colombia is well represented outside of the country and through its people. As far as this class, I am glad I took it. I learned a lot about Latin America and what it means to be Latin American through it. Had I not taken this class or enrolled in it, I would have not been able to do this case study or even be interested in to do it. Moving forward, I am able to discuss what I've learned through it with my family, which is something that I'm excited to do. Overall, thank you again for teaching this class.